What's up, my Vina loves? It's Miss Vina D coming to you all from Vina Team and News. So let's get into it. Married to Medicine, this review. Wow, I have so much to say, man, about the couple's trip. Now I'm going to be jumping around and probably not going in order, but it's okay. I'm going to start from, I love the whole part with Heavenly and her husband, even though I can't stand Heavenly, Dr. Heavenly, I can't, but it's a show, and I understand, the lady's trying to keep their spot and, have that extra check coming in, so I get it sometimes, they have to go overboard. But yeah, I can't with her. But I love that moment between her and her husband, and him going to his father's grave and everything that she went through to make sure that she was able to do that for him. That was a very touching moment, and it just showed a side of their relationship, that because her husband, and as much as he's very reserved when it comes to, certain things, Heavenly is the one that's really out there, but for the most part, he's low key in the background, very chill. So it was nice to see, that moment. It was nice to see her trying to go all out to make, people comfortable and to make the trip exciting. And she really did her thing on the trip. Also too, did anyone notice how Dr. Simone was jumping, screaming, hugging on Dr. Heavenly husband when he came and screaming his name? Like, she was more excited than Heavenly. And it's just like, I've never seen her get that excited for her own husband, or soon to be ex-husband. So yeah, it's sad that when you're lacking certain things, in your relationship. It's interesting how other couples are looking up to other couples, but then those couples are going through their own battles and their own, just how everybody was looking up to Dr. Simone and her husband being married this long, and then you never know, and now here they are going through a divorce. It's just an interesting situation, man. Oh man, wow. You saw, Simone and her husband, Dr. Simone and her husband going through it, their disconnect is hard to watch. It's like they are so on edge that everything upsets them. Just to say, you ready to go? Yes, baby, I'm ready to go. Do I not look ready? And what her husband was saying in that moment is, we're on vacation, and you are still doing work stuff, and you're still checking work stuff. And I get it. I get it with their profession. I completely understand. But sometimes you have to put those people in place that you trust, so that that when you take that break, you're taking that break. You have to put everything in place, knowing that if this emergency happened here, this person can call this person instead of me. Like, have everything in place and just release control and enjoy the moment. And when your marriage is on the rocks and things are happening, even a little bit of friction can just throw you guys off. So for you work too much, we have two separate homes, you spend most of your night at the other house, like, are we even still married? And all of these things going on in your marriage, anything to remind you of we are not moving forward can trigger that just being upset. So for him to come out, and even though she was dressed, but to see the computer or the phone or whatever out, and her doing things that had to do with work, that just basically set him all the way back. Like, here we go again. We just can focus on us and our relationship. She's doing work stuff. And I'm sure the whole part about her husband not saying, I love you, that's terrible, and sometimes people feel like, well, my actions, but then again, when the actions is not there, and then the words are not being said, then this whole situation become worse. Because I understand saying I love you, and then that I love you not being followed by the action, it makes it terrible. But for the fact that he doesn't even say it, what I would say is, ladies, Or gentlemen, for those of you who watch, say that to your kids. Say that to your kids often, and not only say it, don't only say it, but also show the actions, because it's learned. Because some people feel like love is interpreted in different ways. I pay the bills around here, so that means I love you. I'm gonna get the quiet and her husband next, okay? I pay the bills around here, so that's love. I make sure the lights are on, your bills are paid, you have food on the table. To me, that's love. To me, that's support. But or like the parents who make the sacrifice, working 2, 3 jobs, going above and beyond to make sure their children have pleasant lives. But if the babysitter, the daycare, and the school is raising your children, in the long run, even though what you're doing financially is amazing, emotionally you're scarring your children because you're never there. The nanny is there more than you are. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to find, a balance. So some people interpret love differently. They feel like being there financially, that means love. So, I'm sad to see Dr. Simone and her husband of 21 years going through this, and her filing for divorce. I'm sure whatever issues they've, had, they've been working on it for a long time, and then it just took that one moment for the same thing to happen again, for her to be like, yeah, God, I did my part. 21 years, the kids, everything. I can't do this anymore. And I'm not putting it on him. That's why I'm including both of them, because I get it. It's TV. We get to see their lives, but we still get to see a limited amount, of what really goes on. But like I said in the last, episode review, the moment I saw them, get into separate houses, and not just, okay, this is going to be our vacation home or our getaway weekend home, but the fact that she was sleeping in one house and he was sleeping in the other house, I knew something was wrong. Now let's move on to Quad and her man, since I'm talking about not being emotionally available. It was hard to watch. Quad have gotten so upset with her husband to the point where, even though she's complained about him not doing certain things, now that he's trying to do certain things, she's so disgusted to the point where even him trying to do those things make her skin crawl. Like, I need you emotionally. That man tried to love on her, show affection, hug up on her. And you know how, let's just say, one of the most beautiful and precious things to me, if I'm in the kitchen cooking, or I'm standing somewhere, or I'm just lost in my thoughts somewhere, and my man just come and randomly hug me from the back. You know what I'm saying? It's like my body just collapsed in his soul. I just think that's like a beautiful moment. So her husband comes and hug her from the back and just have his arms around her, and she goes, "Oh, child." Then he goes to kiss her, and she's more concerned about her makeup. You understand? So it's like, so from the outside looking in, so it was like, okay, girl, like, which one? What is it going to be? You want emotional support, affection, or do you not want it? I don't know if she felt like it was forced, if he was doing it for the camera, like Simone's husband, or soon to be ex-husband, said. When is it right to say it? Because when she complains about it and I say it, then it feels like, it's forced, or it feels like I'm only doing it because she complained. And that's why the doctor, that sex therapist or whatever, she was like, the little things when you're just caught off guard. Some people just think it's like you have to go all out, but sometimes, in the middle of the afternoon, that text, how's your day going at work, babe? And things that, those little things really do mean a lot. You're leaving home before her and she's sleeping, you leave a note, or vice versa, or never stop doing those things, no matter how many years that led you to get the person in the first place. She have her own practice. When was the last time, and I understand the camera is not always there, But when was the last time, she was at work and came to her desk and there were flowers and stuff waiting for her, and I love you, babe. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, Dr. Jackie husband, when did we see him send stuff at her office? Did he do stuff like that? But then all of a sudden you go and you step out of your marriage and you cheat. Now she's getting diamonds and flowers and things like that. So, he's trying to figure out, like, so that's what the lady was telling him, like, just do it randomly, don't make it seem forced, like I'm just doing this because that's what you want, because then it's not sincere, it's not genuine, the person can sense it, and then it becomes a problem. But yeah, Quad and her husband's situation is just on another level, man. And for the people who keep talking about the kid situation, I don't want to have to bring this up again, but I will. Quad and her husband were both arrested for a domestic dispute against, each of them. I'm just going to put the mug shots here, but you can go ahead and click on the playlist and see that episode and learn all about it. I don't want to get into it. I want to stay on track and not make this video too long. So Quad knows what goes on in her marriage. Her husband knows what goes on in their marriage. She knows the man that she sees when they say cut and the camera goes off. You see, when you get a divorce, no matter how sad and terrible it is, you get to move on with your life, right? When you have kids, it's a little different. The fighting, the custody, the this, that, and the third. Quad already see her husband for who he is. The fact that they went through that and still got married anyways, she knows the level of their anger. She knows the level of their petty. She knows what goes on behind closed doors, and that's probably why she's like, absolutely not. I'm not bringing a child into this situation until I know we are good. Oh, I know Quad has issues. Trust me, I'm not putting it on her husband. They both have major issues because they both got arrested, okay, for the domestic dispute. So you don't bring children in something toxic, so I completely understand and agree with everything they're going through. So at first I was like, oh yeah, she's not going to give that man no kids and all of that, and people back off, let her have children when she's ready. It's not fair and all of that. But looking at their relationship and the dynamics, I completely agree. You don't bring children into something toxic. You don't go ahead and have kids just to shut somebody up. You know what? This is going to make him happy, so I'm going to do it. What about your happiness? And so I agree. There's something deeper going on behind closed doors that, the camera doesn't get to see. And so if that's the case, absolutely don't bring kids into no mess. So whatever the case might be, to be honest with you, yeah, these two are just hanging on by a thread because there's nothing there. There's no attraction, there's no affection, there's no nothing. Most people like to say, oh, she married him, for his status, and in the meantime she's just holding on, for the years to pile up while she rack up her money, and then eventually when she feels comfortable, she's going to leave, and right now everything is working in her favor. I mean, whatever the case might be, that's their marriage. I'm not here to judge people's marriages and all of that. I'm just here to give my opinion and give a review of a show that we watch. But like I said, something very deeper than what we already see is going on in our relationship. So for that, I commend a woman for not bringing a child into a toxic situation, because once you have children with a certain person, you guys are glued together forever. No matter when the kids grow up, they get married, you have to be there. Grandkids, y'all have to, you know what I'm saying? So you guys are stuck together forever. And I think too, being in that circle and seeing what some of her friends have gone through when it comes to, divorce and custody battles and all of the things that go on, she's just like, child, listen, I don't want to go through any of that. So if I see our relationship is going in the right direction, then we will have children. Also too, there are times where people are so. I'm gonna use Gabrielle Union for example, right? In as much as she has said that she did not want children, but then when she got her, step kids with her husband Dwayne Wade have kids, sometimes people be hard on people you don't have kids, but then behind closed doors you don't know that they've been trying. The only reason why I'm bringing Gabrielle Union into this situation is because I did a video on her that have over 200,000 views, where she said in her book she had 8 to 9 miscarriages. I can't even imagine one, let alone 8. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. So sometimes you just think someone is being selfish and all of these things, but then come to find out they can't have kids, or they have tried and there's been miscarriages going on, but behind closed doors you did not know their struggle. So I'm saying all that to say it could be either the relationship is toxic and Quad is like, nope, not bringing a child into this, or I'm not ready for a child, or maybe they have tried. Whatever the case might be, I'm wishing Quad and Dr. G the best. I don't know. Yeah, it's not looking too good for them. It's not looking too good for them, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they are next. Dr. Jackie and her man, Dr. Jackie, I understand the whole being cool. I'm going to be the one that hold it together. I'm going to be the one who's going to make a difference when it comes to reality TV. I'm not going to be, seen as the one jumping on tables, being ratchet, being loud, fighting, jumping in people's faces and stuff. What did I say in the last episode? I said, yes, she was upset, but she was playing her cool. Toy have to do more than that to upset me. And then in this episode, she's like, it was disrespectful, it was that. So I knew she was upset. It's okay, girl, to release your emotions, release your hurt, release your anger, release your pain, and to see her, sitting on the boat all wrapped up in her husband's arms, we shall see. She did file for divorce. So far, there's nothing yet that they are moving forward. Once again, I'm going to insert Lisa Nicole, okay? Dr. Jackie was one of the top ones to be like, oh my God, I would never do it. I can believe. She was so hard and on her high horse at Belisa, but there she is holding his hand or hugged up in him, and that's on him. And I still think Dr. Jackie feels like she's still superior to what happened to Lisa Nicole, because in as much as her husband cheated, they are still legally married, but they were separated. Remember, before all of the pictures came out, or maybe he was already doing it while they were still in the same house. But from what we saw last year, they were done. He has said that, she worked too much. If things didn't change, he wanted out, and they were going through their moments of her wanting to live in the city and him wanting a house in the suburbs, and or vice versa, whatever the case might be. So she probably still feel like our relationship were on the rocks. Yes, we are still legally married, but we were not in love in the same house, being happy. He wasn't coming home every night doing the whole family thing with me, and then went out and cheated. We were done. Almost like she's saying that to herself to make her feel better. Like it's not the same thing, because, and I'm shifting just in case you hear the noise. You guys know I already always do that. When I sit too much longer in the same spot, I have to change my position. But yeah, so we shall see what happened with these two. When Dr. Contessa and her husband were calling him selfish and all of that, almost like saying, whether your wife works too many hours or whatever, if you can't do it, then you leave the relationship before you step out. You can't say, oh yeah, because you were working too much, I went over here and got it. They just feel like, don't blame her for your mess. Own your mess. Don't make her feel guilty that because of this. I completely understand what the sex therapist was saying, about Dr. Jackie loving putting most of her love into her clients than her relationship and her husband, and to understand that while she's nourishing the relationship with her clients, her relationship is dying. So that's going to be a hard pill to swallow. Did you see how he looks like a giant next to her? I'm just like, goodness. I was reading the comments somewhere, and someone said, no wonder why she works so much and run away. That man is a giant. I wouldn't want him to even come next to me. He'd probably break her. I'm like, ew, that's nasty. But we shall see, man, what's going to happen with these two relationship. But talking about Quad, Dr. Simone and her husband, Mariah and her man, they seem to be doing good. I'm sure they have the ups and downs, but not only are they in love and they're good, her husband just looks like he's the type of person that's just laid back, like don't take things too seriously, and if they have an issue, they talk about it, and he's just very understanding, whatever my wife wants, even when that little moment of them on the boat and she was feeling seasick, and he was like, we can go upstairs, and she's like, I'm good for now, in the way how she said it, and he was just like, okay babe, he didn't snap, he didn't say, whether he snapped off camera, we'll never know, but he didn't snap, he didn't snap, he didn't say, don't talk to me that way, I was just being nice, or none of that. He was just like, okay babe, and he left it alone. And from what she explained, everything is good in their life. So, that's good. Toya and Eugene, same old different day. These two love each other. They're not going anywhere. The only issues they have is her mouth being on diarrhea and just being so open about just telling their business and all of that. And he just want her to be more reserved, as it relates to their relationship. Eugene needs to take care of himself. I completely understand with the taking care of everybody else and forgetting about himself, and especially him being a doctor and knowing better. You have to take care of yourself, And so his blood pressure being that high, I'm glad that they were able to call him out on that, and hopefully he gets back, to doing everything he said in the confessional that he was going to do. Dr. Heavenly and her marriage, I 100%, I'm sure they have their ups and downs behind closed doors, but her husband is just like, listen man, this is for us right here. Some people pick and choose what part of their relationship and marriages they're going to reveal to the public and what part they're going to keep hidden, So Dr. Jackie was forced to talk about this. If her husband was never seen with another woman in the public, she probably was going to use a different narrative, the narrative of, we're still going through it, but I'm working a lot, but we're going to figure it out. But she was forced to talk about it because it was out there in the public, and you can't avoid that. So I talked about everybody and their relationship, just thinking we're about to see the whole blowout between Quad and Simone. We have to wait. But and Heavenly was talking about her dad, and Quad was like acting for assault or whatever. Yeah, this lady is talking about her husband, dead father, and Quad over there talking about she gets assaulted and whatever, and they shut her down like, this is not about you. You should have seen her face. Oh, and when Dr. Heavenly husband when he broke the glass when he broke that glass, wow, that was funny. But we shall see, man. Simone, yeah, she let it all out there, and I'm glad Quad is getting it, because Mariah was funny. She was like, child, I can't even breathe around these people. Like, everything I do, they jump on me. So, but we shall see, man, what happened in the next episode. Yeah, all of the marriages just, they need to put some medicine into their own marriages, because Lord, are they going through it. But only the strong, right, shall survive, and we should see what happens with all of this. All right, my Vanilla loves, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'm wishing you all an amazing day. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation.